Guys, welcome into the AfterSchrock. We're going to give everyone a few seconds to get joined up here as we go live. Got some interesting stories to tell this week from the previous week in review. It was kind of weird, some stuff. Other stuff is like this Windows update feels like it just snuck up on me even. The 1909 update, because I'm like, oh, come on, 6 months, because they were supposed to release the 1903 update in May or in April. But it got pushed into May. That's why the new one's only been out for like 4 months. It was supposed to be released in April, though, so 6 months after April would be October. And so every 6 months. So yeah, they're in the process of finalizing 1909 now. And the techs in the shops have played around with it a little bit. What you're going to see in version 1909 is nothing new, which is actually a relief. They're not going to add new features and stuff. They're releasing an entire version of Windows 10 just to deal with the bugs and the problems that their rapid release schedule for the last 3 iterations has created. So that's a whole operating system upgrade just for bug fixes is what it amounts to. So ironically, the operating system upgrade that is supposed to fix all the problems could end up blowing up your computer, but no problems. So I'm sure it'll be fine. So anyway, so that's coming up. That feels like it snuck up on me. Let me see what else happened this week. We are hiring a front desk position. Kaylin in the Omaha Service Center is getting married and moving to Missouri, and her final day with us was Friday. So we're going to miss her very much. She did a great job for us in the Omaha Service Center. She is the bright, bubbly person at the front desk you probably saw when you came in. But we are looking to hire somebody in that role to act as a front desk person in the service center, do basic cleanliness stuff in the service center, make sure everything is neat, organized, put together, take in work orders, talk to customers, make sure our customers' needs are getting handled appropriately, and also act as a kind of an administrative assistant for our Schrock Interactive team. So there is a lot of downtime when you're on the front desk. Like there's periods of intense activity and then periods of no activity. And you're just kind of sitting there waiting for the next phone to ring or the next person to walk in. During those times, we have tasks for Schrock Interactive that we want to have accomplished as well. So if you know somebody who's interested, you can apply on Indeed. We have an ad up on Indeed.com. And so far, we've got some applicants. Some of them have been really, really qualified, and some of them are really, really not qualified. And so, I think we've had 70 applicants, and of that, we've actually asked 4 to come in for interviews. That tells you, like, the applicant pool. Everybody thinks they can do a front desk job, that it's not hard, but anybody who's ever done a front desk job knows that it's not exactly, it's not super simple, right? It's not like an assembly line job where you're doing the same thing over and over all day. It requires you to think on your feet. It requires you to be a personable individual. It requires you to care about people. It requires you to beat the guys up when they're not doing their job and getting you what you need. So I mean, there's a lot that goes into it that you might not appreciate just looking at it from the outside. But definitely take a look and see if that's something that works for you. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Kimberly. All right. So what else do we got today? Oh yes, we saw. I got an weird email this week from a business broker. And what happens when a business is up for sale? When a business owner decides he's done, it's time to move on, he'll try to sell his business to some other business owner that wants to buy it, or a potential business owner. And a lot of times, businesses under $5 million a year will use a business brokerage, and businesses over $5 million a year in revenue will usually use a merger and acquisition firm, something like a generational equity firm, whereas under $5 million will use something like Sunbelt Business Brokers or something like that. And basically, the business broker gets a commission if the business sells. The most logical place for a business broker to start selling a local business is to the local competitors of that business. And I'm not here to knock. I'm not here to do any harm to the gentleman. I spoke with him. He's a good guy. He's worked hard for 9 years and built up a pretty decent computer repair business. It's not something that we're interested in purchasing necessarily, but whenever I hear a business owner is getting out, I always want to know why, like what's going on. So, I didn't call his business broker because I didn't want to waste everybody's time. And, I got a hot lead, everything else, because I'm not going to buy his business. But I wanted to call him. First of all, sometimes business owners get out because they need help or because something's not going right. And we do pretty well at Schrock, but that wasn't always the case. A lot of people don't know this, but, we're in our 20th year right now. We didn't make a profit for the first 10 years we were in business. And after 10 years of not making a profit, that's money out of pocket you're just pouring into the business, and eventually you have to start turning a profit or you're going to go out of business, right? So for the first 10 years we were in business, it was all building, and everything we generated went right back into the business. Everything was a constant feedback loop. And so if this guy's in 9 years, maybe he's doing the same thing. Maybe it's just to the point where he's like, I can't continue this anymore. I can't keep going. I'm just going to have to give up and quit. And he had about 6,000 customers in his database. So it wasn't a small company. It was pretty good size, for a computer repair shop. So anyway, I call him up, and first off, it's awkward anytime a competitor calls you and says, hey, how's business going, right? But I called him up and like, listen, hey, people sell businesses all the time. People sell businesses for different reasons. If the reason is that things are not going financially the way you'd like them to go, it's going to sound really weird coming from a competitor, but there might be something that we can do to help. For example, our Secure Updater software is available for any business to sell. In fact, we have an affiliate program. You can make money selling Secure Updater. So here, sell Secure Updater. You get to keep, I think the affiliate commission is like $40 out of the $50 for the license, for a new license. So you can make $40. You have 6,000 people that come to you for computer work. Take 6,000 times 40, and you can have that extra money in your account. That might help your business grow. And yes, we're competitors, but yes, we're serving two different demographics in the marketplace. There's enough room for both of us to coexist peacefully here. That's why we're not interested in buying his business. It's not what he does is not what we do. So anyway, he assured me that wasn't the case, that everything was fine and great. And while there has been a slowdown over the last several years, it's not bad, and his business is amazing. And he said all the things that you need to say, and so everything went well. So that was it's always an interesting time when you look at the realization that the computer repair industry is it's a constricting industry. We've seen this for the last decade, that as our competitors go out of business and we kind of bring their people into our fold and find ways to deliver services to them in a way that keeps their technology running and working well, even though they're using that technology less often, or they maybe have augmented that technology with other things like tablets, phones, and things like that. The computer will always have a role somewhere in that mix. And so the objective now as a computer repair company at Schrock is we have to build long-term relationships with our customers, every single one of them, so that way, as their needs change over time, they feel comfortable coming to us and saying, hey, my needs are changing. And we can say, well, let's come up with a new product that helps you do that. So for example, many people now have laptops, many more than used to have laptops, because they're about the same price as a desktop now. But laptops have these internal pancake batteries now to make them thin and light. And those batteries fail more often than the old brick batteries that clipped into the back. But the problem is you don't know they're failing until they bulge and swell and possibly catch on fire or explode or damage your computer. We don't want that to happen. So wouldn't it be great if there was a program that tested for battery problems before they happened? And so we're working right now on integrating that technology into our free Drive Advisor program. So it'll also advise you if your battery is going bad. It's just little things like that we try to do going forward to make sure that we are providing a value to our customers, and that our customers are seeing that value and appreciating it, and they're getting some value from having a relationship with us. I mean, it's basic 101. The days of running a computer repair shop where you waited for people to come in with something broken and said, okay, we fixed it, give us money, come back and call us next time something's broken. Those days are done. I mean, you have to provide an ongoing, real-time feedback level of support to your customers, or they're going to become somebody else's customers, or eventually you're going to decide it's time to move on and leave the business and go somewhere else. So anyway, there's little things that we do like that. The holiday special desktop, I didn't mention this during the show, but the holiday special desktop is in for pre-testing. So basically, we have finalized the build. We've built our internal prototypes. We've tested them. They're working great. We are looking for those 3 beta testers that we try to get somebody who's a regular consumer. We try to get somebody who's a big power user, a gamer, or someone who's building buildings in AutoCAD, something like that. And then we try to get a person who is somewhere in the middle, doing something creative, something that's demanding on a computer, but not blowing it up. And then you buy the holiday special. You get it about a month ahead of when everybody else gets it. We build it at a real loss, actually, because all the other holiday specials are bulk ordered, which is why they take so long to get delivery. But when you get the trial, the demo model, the holiday special, we're building them one at a time. So the $14.99 doesn't even come close to covering the cost of the parts when we're not ordering 150 of them at a time. But we build 3 of them anyway. The only thing that we ask is once you have those computers and you've tried them out and everything looks good, that you give us some feedback on the radio show or maybe on a video or something, or shoot us a message of some sort that just tells about your experience with the holiday special. It's called social proof, and what it does is it lets people know who are thinking about buying the holiday special that they're safe in their thought of buying that computer. Because somebody else went before them and bought the computer and had a great experience, and it did good for them. So this year, the big things, it's the 20th anniversary holiday special, right? 20th anniversary holiday special. We got to do something big. So this year we're doing 1 terabyte solid state. We're doing 32 gigabytes of memory. If you don't know what these numbers mean, just know that they're stupid large, okay? 32 gigabytes of memory. It's going to have a Ryzen 7 processor, which is more than 3 times faster than last year's holiday special. And it's going to come with a 24-inch curved monitor. It's the first curved monitor that we've ever offered at Schrock Innovations. If you prefer the flat monitor, you can switch it out for no additional cost. But it comes with a curved monitor with speakers and everything in it. It's a pretty slick-looking machine. So anyway, that's going to be available at Schrock. It's the holiday special. So if we get a little grumbling going on, if we start offering the holiday special before Halloween. So it's not going to be officially launched until November, but you can get your order in now, which gets you the computer in time to review it and use it, and then have an experience to tell us about on the radio show when we actually start talking about them in November. So anyway, if you want to get in on that, contact the service center closest to you. 2 of the 3 builds have already been taken. So we have 1 left. So if you still want that 1 build, we had a guy who was committed to buying it on Friday, but for whatever reason, it didn't work out for him, so he wasn't able to do that in our Papillion Service Center. So that build is up for grabs now, and if you want to grab it, if maybe you were told, no, we don't have any builds available yet, now we have 1 available. So if you want it, give us a call. We open today at noon. We're open from noon to 5. You can pick that up and get that thing moving for yourself. All right, let's see what we got for questions. I saw that Microsoft even put out a patch for Internet Explorer. It must still be many using it besides government agencies. Okay, so Brian, the Internet Explorer patch is interesting. There are people that still use Internet Explorer besides government agencies. The reason I harp on the government agencies so much is because they have the budget and the money to change that. It's just not a priority for their IT people. And it needs to be a priority. It's just not. And so as a result, it just continues on forever. And then someday they're going to get rid of IE completely. And then when that happens, you're going to see all these administrators not upgrading to the newest version of Windows 10 because they have to have IE, or trying to find a way to load IE on a computer that doesn't have IE, or run an IE emulator. There's going to be all kinds of stupid stuff that happens before the people just finally say we have to redesign the system. And the problem is, the frustrating problem, please, for the love of all things holy, if you are in a position of responsibility for a governmental agency of some sort, or a quasi-governmental agency, the technology is there now to redevelop the system that you have at a fraction of the cost that it was going to be developed before. We pitched a deal to the city of Lincoln that was going to be an $80,000 system instead of a $250,000 system that everybody else proposed. And we lost the bid because the bid was written for some. They already knew who they wanted, but they had to put it through the bid process. That's the way life works. I get it. The people in purchasing say that doesn't happen. It totally happens because we structured our bid in such a way that they could not go with us. They had to. We were the cheapest. We had everything covered. We had all the experience they asked for in the bid. Everything was covered by the letter, so they no-bid the contract and then relaunched the bid with different requirements that boxed out Schrock Innovation so that we wouldn't qualify. Yeah. So, and they ask you why you don't like to bid on government contracts. I'd much rather help people who are thankful for being helped every day than deal with that. That was really frustrating because why don't you bid on more government contracts, Mr. Schrock? Okay, we'll go ahead and try this one. And, we put in like 40, 50 hours of work on a bid. No, that's my people's time. That costs us money. And then it wasn't like we lost the bid, because I could get it. If somebody came in and had a better bid, got it. We didn't lose the bid. We were told, nah, these are the rules, but nah, and then moved on. And that's the way it works. I get it. So I'm not going to whine about it. But It's frustrating. So at some point, they're going to have to redesign that stuff. And when the time comes, we'll be there. Hopefully, they won't box us out, but we will be there to save the local cities, governments, municipalities, millions of dollars a year. You want more money in your budget? Have us rebuild your software for you. It'll be more efficient. It'll be perfect. You'll require fewer people to run it, which was the problem, I think, with our bid. It would reduce the number of FTE jobs required in the department because you don't need somebody to process credit card payments when they're all processed through the website. It doesn't need, you don't need somebody to do that. Keep one person in the window to take the cash payments that come in and the checks and help people who don't know how to type a credit card into a browser. There are some people who don't. They're there to help. But that's it. Otherwise, everything's done online, and it's easy, and it's free, and it works fast. So anyway, if you're in a position where you have a piece of software that needs to be redesigned, something along those lines, we do have experience working with governmental agencies. So if that's you, let us know, let me know, and we would be happy to bid out something and get it going for you, as long as you're going to give us a fair shake at it. That's all we ask. Okay, let's see. What else do we got here? Oh, so yeah, Internet Explorer, they did patch it last week. They patched it because the flaw was so egregious that it was impacting Windows 10 computers because Internet Explorer is still in Windows 10. So if you happen to have Internet Explorer 10 as your Internet Explorer 11 set up as your default browser because you can't move on for whatever reason, and you clicked on a link in an email, it would open up and infect your computer and allow the bad guys to have complete control of your Windows 10 computer. Microsoft didn't fix it because they love you. Microsoft fixed it because they couldn't have Windows 10 computers going rogue all over the place because it would be really bad for business. It would look bad. It would be like Vista all over again. So they issued a patch for it because it was being exploited in the wild. But that's why they call it a rare patch. It doesn't happen very often. Good morning, Lee. All right. Mobile computer repair. Your business is in a Ford truck. Oh, Keith, I don't think you've been around long enough. No. Have you ever heard of the ambulance? This is why you want Thor fixing computers and not fixing vehicles. So the computer repair ambulance was something that we came up with. It was back in 2004, 2005. We got online, we went on eBay, and we found an old ambulance in Minnesota. It was on the Iowa-Minnesota border. And so we, Iowa-Minnesota border. Where was it? It was in Minnesota. Anyway, it was barely into Minnesota. So we drove to Minnesota to get this van that we bought on eBay for $1,500. And it was a Ford Econoline extended van with the headroom and everything. And our thought was we would strip out the interior of all the medical-y stuff, network it, get set up, put a big old inverter in it so it has its own power source. And then what we would do is the vehicle would be manned by two individuals, one driver and one technician. So the van in the morning would go pick up. So some customers just want a free pickup. They don't want us to do the work at their house. So we would go do free pickups, right? And then we would drive to the first on-site of the day, which is somebody who wants us to actually work in their house. When we park the vehicle, the guy would go into the back, drop the tables down, get the computer out, and start working on it, on the ones he picked up, get them moving, right? And then when we had to move on to the next place, we would secure everything and then drive to the next on-site where we keep working on everything. And then at the end of the day, we would drop off, and we would be able to service 5 to 7 computers a day with 2 technicians. It would be the equivalent of a mobile service center. Unfortunately, during that time, gasoline prices were around $4, $4.50, or $4 a gallon. It was approaching. The gas prices were going nuts. So when we calculated how much fuel we would use in that old ambulance, what we found was it was actually cheaper to rent a space than it was to operate the mobile repair ambulance. But the funny story behind this is this was the 1980s Ford Econoline. And back in the 80s, they hadn't idiot-proofed the fuel tanks yet. So now, if you pull up to the gas pump and you're not paying attention and you grab the diesel handle and you try to put that in your gasoline tank, it won't fit because they've idiot-proofed it. And I guess I'm an idiot. I'm going to put it back on the pump. So anyway, we bought this vehicle, and it's an ambulance, right? Of course it's going to be diesel, right? It's an ambulance. No, it was unleaded. And that was in life when I learned there was a difference between gasoline engines and diesel engines, that it's not diesel gas. Is this gas or is this diesel gas? No, it's gas or diesel. They're different, very different. And so we had about a quarter of a tank. The ambulance had 2 tanks. And we had a quarter of a tank in each tank, but we were driving back from Minnesota. So we pull up to a gas station, we grab that diesel handle, pop that sucker in there. We fill 3/4 of a tank of diesel into a gasoline engine. We start driving back for home, right? And at first, everything is fine. We're tootling down the road, doing great. And we start to lose power, so I start to have to push harder on the accelerator to get more fuel in the tank, trying to get it to go faster. By the time we rolled into Lincoln, we were literally shooting flames out of the tailpipe because the oil from the diesel was igniting and just burning off. The side of the ambulance was just covered in like black oily soot, and we're like, what is happening? What kind of a lemon did we buy? Oh my gosh. And when we got home, the maximum speed, when I stopped it at the shop, the maximum speed of that vehicle was 13 miles an hour. That's how fast it would go because it was so gummed up with diesel garbage. So anyway, we got a guy who dropped the tanks, got the diesel out, replaced the spark plugs, cleaned everything, took everything apart, cleaned everything, put it all back together. It never did run right again after that. But then the price of fuel was like, this is stupid. It's not going to work. So yeah, the ambulance was one of those fabled stories of Schrock lore of really, really good ideas that in practice just didn't quite cut it. Number 2 that didn't get quite that far, though, was the quadricopter. If you know what a quadricopter is, yeah, look it up. We wanted to build a quadricopter and land it in your driveway to do computer repair. That would be pretty cool, right? People will have us come to look at their computers just to see the quadricopter land in their driveway. Think about free pickup and free drop-off. Quadricopter coming in for a landing. Grab the computer, put it in the quadricopter, take off again, fly back to the shop. Oh, would have been choice. But for obvious reasons, that didn't quite work out as well. Well, we bought the plans. Who knew that there was that much maintenance in fixed and rotor wing aircraft? Come on. All right, let's see. Good morning, Maureen. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Carolyn. I saw your order for the safe upgrades. Thank you for grabbing those. You got all 3 of them there. So your computer should be covered. I know that Tai Chi never really likes to take it, so I'm sure we'll see you in the service center, but we're going to give it a shot first. So that's what I tell people. Try it with the home version first, because if it works, you've saved $30. If you have to bring it in, you have to bring it in. But it's only $30 more if you bring it in. It's not the end of the world. It's not like a full hour of labor. But yeah, try it at home first and see if you can do it and save yourself the $30. Richard says, I have Windows 1809. Do I need 1903 before I can do 1909? No, you don't. You can jump straight from 1809 to 1909, provided your computer can take it. It appears to me as a taxpayer the government doesn't look ahead and see that they could have saved a ton of time and money on software like that. You're absolutely right, Brian. They don't. Part of the reason is there's no incentive to do so. There's always more money later, right? And the other problem is, like Nebraska this year is trying to figure out how they're going to get out of a budget hole that they're in. The last thing they want to do is consider spending new money on a project that can be put off until next year. So there's also that level of procrastination. It's not a crisis yet. Government responds best in a crisis situation. So we're going to wait till it becomes a crisis, and then we'll respond to it. Maybe that'll get us the job because it's a crisis and nobody else can do it as fast as Schrock can. So we'll see. Sounds like we may have our own swamp in Nebraska. Yeah, Don, I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but there's something that the legislature, I don't know if they're still doing it or not, but they're talking about cutting off funding for like 200 kids in the state that are profoundly developmentally disabled. Basically, the ironic thing here is these kids have loving parents that both work. So they're doing everything they're supposed to. They have insurance. They've got all this stuff, but their kids are so profoundly disabled that insurance just doesn't cover it. So the state of Nebraska kind of picks up the rest of the tab on that. And we can argue whether that's the state's role or not. Totally legit. The thing that's frustrating, though, is the state of Nebraska wants to remove this support from families that are in that situation now. However, the support is fully available in full for uninsured, unwed, unemployed parents. So basically, the way this goes is, if we want the best for our daughter or our son, and we have a profoundly disabled child, my husband and I have to get a divorce, and I have to quit my job. And then I would qualify to get everything paid for by the state, instead of paying for as much as I reasonably can out of pocket and with my insurance, and having the state come by and pick up the little bit of extra. That's the kind of stuff they're trying to cut right now to get out of a budget hole. Redesigning the state's systems to not use Internet Explorer is like way down here. It's off camera on the priority list for sure. All right, my other great idea is a self-returning shopping cart. Yeah, that has potential, Keith. I don't know. That might work. I'd rather see the robot go out and get the cart, though. Think about that. The kids would be like, look at the robot, Mom. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. It'd be like the free cookie at the bakery, I think. All right. Have you thought about using drones for pickup and drop off? Not necessarily. No, we haven't. The R&D on that is pretty intense. It would be cool, but imagine I don't want to have to make that call. Like, so yeah, Mark. A funny thing happened on the way back to the service center. You see, the drone was flying along, and there was a bird strike. You see, and well, the drone went down pretty hard, and your laptop didn't do so well. Then you might be getting a call from Mrs. Smith. It seems the drone, when it came down, it lost hold of your laptop, and it had your business card taped on the top of it, and it dropped it through the windshield of her car. Yeah, that's unfortunate. She might be giving you a call, something about insurance or a neck brace or something. I don't know what. So, I mean, there's a lot of potentially fraught situations there. However, one thing we have thought about doing is getting a Tesla to go do our pickups and drop-offs instead of the Ford Fiesta. There's a logic behind the Ford Fiesta, right? These are kids. In some cases, well, everyone's a kid to me now, but they're guys in their 20s that are driving a company vehicle, and they're going to eat in it, they're going to drink in it, they're going to do whatever in it, they're going to trash it, right, over a 5 or 10 year period. And we don't want to buy anything too nice, okay? On the other hand, imagine you get a Tesla. And when Tesla was a big deal like 5 years ago, if a Tesla rolled up out in front of your house to pick up your computer, that's pretty awesome, right? Now, the other problem is you could look at this from the other angle and say, well, I bet they charge a lot because they're picking up things with Teslas, $100,000 cars for pickups and drop-offs. You got to be kidding me. So anyway, yeah, we've thought about the different vehicles that we use, but we've never considered using a drone, primarily because of the weight concern. It'd have to be a pretty powerful drone to pick up the computer and haul it back, and then to haul it back safely, recharge time, things like that. I'm not sure. Then there's the governmental thing and the air clearances and the permits and everything else. But it would be pretty cool. But you're going to see more of this. I think Domino's is testing a robot that drives along the sidewalk to deliver your pizza. It just rolls along the sidewalk and then delivers a pizza to your house and pulls up with like a hot box full of pizza. Although I could see a situation where, you drive your Domino's robot through the wrong neighborhood, then all of a sudden somebody picks it up, takes the pizza out of the side, turns it upside down, and leaves it like a turtle on its back. I could see that happening too. All right, Wesley. What does support on failed safe upgrades for Des Moines customers look like? Great question. So basically, when safe upgrade doesn't work right, many times we can figure out what the problem is through the Schrock desk. We can go onto the Schrock desk and basically do a manual installation with the assistance of a technician to figure out what the deal is and to get it to install properly. If for some reason if Safe Upgrade can't install Windows 10 and we can't get it installed at the service center for you, we are not real big on charging customers for services that we can't deliver for whatever the reason. So we're going to give you a full refund on that. So honestly, there's not really any risk to you. In fact, the risk is a lot less because if your computer does blow up in your face from doing this update automatically, I mean, you're a good 9 months away from a Schrock service center in Des Moines, so you're going to have to drive it to Omaha at this point. That's a long drive. I did it the other day just to see. It's a long drive. So yeah, you can certainly purchase it in Des Moines, and it will do everything automatically. You don't have to be geographically close to Schrock for Safe Upgrade to work. And because we have the Schrock desk for support, we're able to do that support for you remotely. All right, last thing for the Schrock desk, or for the AfterSchrock this morning, is speaking of the Schrock desk, Google has decided once again that all of our advertisements for all products and services, even those who are not related to Schrock Innovations that are like for data recovery technicians, should all be banned because they're for third-party tech support. So we've submitted all kinds of information about, this is not tech support, this is data recovery, it's a different thing. And then he replies back and he goes, your website clearly says data recovery technicians, and technicians provide technical support. Therefore, it's technical support and we can't advertise. And I was like, okay, here we go, Sanjeet. So by your logic, a diesel automotive technician is performing technical support on computers because he's a diesel automotive technician. An air conditioning repair technician is providing technical support on computers because he's an air conditioning support technician. A data recovery technician doesn't fix computers. We don't even fix hard drives. We extract data from failed devices to give back to our customers on good devices. We're not fixing the old hard drive. We're not fixing it, giving it back, put it back in your computer. You're good to go. That drive is gone. It's toast. It's done. No one ever wants to see that thing again. Our job is to extract the data. That's not tech support. There are some elements of technical support to it if you want to get technical about it. Yes, you're using a computer in most cases when it fails. Makes sense. Yes, when you get your data back, you're going to put it back on a computer. Yeah. We use computers to recover your data. Yeah. So, but it's not technical support. We're not fixing your computer. It's so frustrating. So yeah, the fight goes on. Meanwhile, we see competitors advertising all their services up one side, down the other, all over the place on Google right now. It's like, and every computer repair shop provides third-party online technical support as well as offline. You have to have an online tech support solution right now. That's just how it is. Although Google did provide me with a form that I can report competitors that are currently advertising so that their ads can be pulled too, just like ours. Which, wow, that makes total sense. Let's just bring everybody down to the base level rather than trying to be reasonable and give exemptions for companies that are actually legitimate and helping people out. That makes a whole lot of sense. All righty, guys. So that wraps it up for today. Last call for questions here before we head out. Keep in mind that the AfterSchrock Safe upgrade is available at SchrockInnovations.com. Click on Shop and Specials. I haven't looked to see how many we have left here. Let me check this out real quick. Let's go see what we got here. SchrockInnovations.com. We go to Shop. We go to Specials. And there it is, October 1909 or October 2019 update. All right, we're down to 902. We started with 1,000. I mentioned that we released more this time than last time. We doubled it up to 1,000 because 500 was clearly not enough. We made so many exceptions for people who were like panicked about not being able to buy it. So yeah, everything went pretty smooth last time, relatively smooth last time. I mean, relatively smooth from our perspective. Like Safe Upgrade was able to deliver the installations it was supposed to deliver in about 89% of the cases. The other 11% of the cases were things where we had to manually install. We only had a handful of situations where, for one reason or another, the installation couldn't be completed. Typically, it was things like bad hard drives. Your hard drive is bad. Graphics cards that are outdated, those are the two biggies. And of course, the people who buy Safe Upgrade trying to upgrade their Windows Vista computer or their Windows 8 computer, it doesn't work that way. You've got to be on Windows 10 to get the Windows 10 upgrade. So anyway, 902 remaining as of right now, guys. That means 88 were sold in the last 24 hours. So the first we'll probably be down to 500 by next week, but then after that it'll slow down a little bit. So like I said, it's not like we're going to sell out today, but definitely get your copy and make sure you get a copy for each computer that you plan to upgrade. So for example, if you have 3 computers, you want to pick 3 copies of Safe Upgrade because it's per computer. We know the update's coming out in October. We do not know if it's October 1st or if it's October 31st. What I do know is that Microsoft typically doesn't release the Safe Upgrade on the same weekend as a Patch Tuesday, which means the unfortunate situation is the first Tuesday of October is Tuesday, October 2nd. Yeah. October 9th is going to be out because that's going to be a Patch Tuesday. And let's see here then. Let's go October. Then we have the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th. So we have 3 additional dates that the update could potentially be released. They usually do release it on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Excuse me, I'm sorry, October, the 1st of October is a Tuesday. Oh boy, so this could literally come out in 2 days. So scratch what I said earlier about not being in a rush because we have 900 available. It could come out in 2 days. I kind of probably should have said that on the radio. Oops. So anyway, yeah, it won't be out on the 8th though, because that's a patch Tuesday. So it could be the 15th, the 22nd, the 29th. We just don't know. But it is planned to come out sometime in October. So get your copy, get one for each computer that you plan to upgrade. And then we're happy to help you out if something doesn't work out with it. You've got that Schrock support behind you. We're guaranteeing that Safe Upgrade is going to be able to install Windows 10 for you safely. It's called Safe Upgrade, not Sure Upgrade. We're not guaranteeing that Safe Upgrade is going to install Windows 10 version 1909, period, end of sentence, good to go. If for some reason your Safe Upgrade can't install it on your computer, at that point a technician will connect with you over the Schrock desk and try to see if there's something they can fix that way to get it to go for you at home without you having to bring it in. There is no additional charge for that support. If you do have to end up bringing it in to put it on the bench to get it done, you pay the difference between the at-home rate, which is $50, and the bench rate, which is $80. So you pay a $30 difference to get the upgrade done on your computer, but then we'll get it done for you. And if for some reason we can't upgrade the computer, or you're in Des Moines and it's not feasible to bring it into the service center, at that point we would refund your Safe Upgrade purchase price to you, because we'll be able to tell if it was successfully installed or not. So make sure you grab those copies, guys. I guess I didn't realize that. I mean, I knew October's coming, but in my brain, I didn't make the connection that October's coming in like 48 hours. So make sure you pay attention to that, I guess. Oops. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you being a part of the program, being a part of Schrock Innovations family. Thank you for your reviews, your likes, things like that. If you could take a moment, if you didn't do so previously, we asked during the program that you go through and you do a review or a recommendation of us on Facebook. The reason for this is we're going to be doing, Google is giving us a really hard time about our online advertising on Google. So we are going to start doing Facebook ads for data recovery. We're going to try it out. We don't know how successful it's going to be, but we're going to try it. So if people are looking on Facebook for us, we want to make sure that we have lots of reviews and recommendations. People don't usually shop on Facebook, so we've never really pushed it before. I always send you to Google or Yelp or something like that. But so this is a little bit different. So if you could take a moment on Facebook, go over on the left side there on the Schrock Innovations page, click on reviews and recommendations, and you can actually leave a recommendation. It can be as much as I recommend Schrock Innovations. That can be it. You just click the I recommend button and it's done. You can write a message. You could also write a review, a multi-star review, just like, 1 to 5 star kind of situation. Of course, we would hope for 5, please. Yeah, so if you could take a moment to do that for us, I would greatly appreciate it. It means a lot to us, and it's going to help people who are seeing us on Facebook for the first time. They may not be aware of what we do and the commitment toward what we do. And so your reviews and recommendations being there can mean the difference between somebody kind of approaching us kind of cautiously and somebody approaching us with the certainty that, yes, Schrock Innovations is going to get my data back and I can trust them with it. All right. With that, guys, time to roll out. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. I appreciate it. Stay dry out there today. Boys, my boy has a football game today, so we're going to be outside in the muggy, rainy yumminess. But hopefully they do well. They have to win their next 2 to have any shot at a postseason game play at all. The season is so short. It's a 6-game regular season for the little guys. So getting them a couple extra games is something that would be great. So they're playing the Council Bluffs Lynx today. I believe it's the Lynx. Yeah. So they're playing the Lynx today, and then next week they play inter-Papillion rival, the Monarchs. So they've got to win both of these games. The Titans have to win both games if they want to have postseason. So this is like Super Bowl for them. So if you're a mom of the Lynx players, the kids are going to be playing hard today. I don't know what the Lynx situation is if they have to win to get to the playoffs, but yeah, the Titans are going to be playing hard today. So heads up on that one. Hopefully we'll see some good, clean football and nobody will get hurt. That's always the scariest thing when you're watching your kids out there. You want to see them play hard, but you don't want to see anybody get hurt. It's different when they're little kids or they're younger kids and they're your kids and you're watching them from the stands and you're just like, you don't want to see that kind of stuff. Like that hit yesterday. If you were watching the Nebraska game yesterday, oh my gosh, on that kickoff, the hit that they laid on that guy in the 4th quarter, and then it got called back and they had to kick it again. You get to see him. He was walking off. I think it was his number 6, I think, for Ohio State. He was walking off the field, and you could just see the lights were on, but nobody was home. He was. I was like, oh, dang, that was vicious. He went this way and that way and this way and that way. You don't want to see that with the littles, okay? College, sure. If it's not my boy, that's fine. That's a good hit. But I mean, I want to see that with the littles. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again next week.